everybody. Welcome to Sports Grind Season 2, Episode 14. My name's Tyler Wigo.
And I'm Mickey Perello.
And today, we actually have a lot to talk about. Going with the NBA draft, we're going to be explaining the top 5 picks in the draft. We're also going to be explaining Klay Thompson getting injured and my thoughts.
And definitely more on the NBA today, too, as free agency starts. And there's going to be a couple moves today. So we'll predict some moves that were going to be happening today as well.
NFL Week 10 and NFL Week 11, which started last night. So without further ado, let's get into the NBA draft, the top 5 picks, which was 2 days ago. Number 1, the Minnesota Timberwolves drafted Anthony Edwards from Georgia. Now, this is like the Zion Williams of this year, basically. This is the guy to look at this year. He's going to be a really good rookie. That's the guy to look at, and he's going to help the Timberwolves a lot.
He is. You really put Anthony Edwards, a shooting guard type small forward guy. You put him in with D'Angelo Russell at point guard, Karl Anthony Towns at the center position. And now you have 3 really good offensive players. But will it be enough to bring them into the Western Conference, which is definitely loaded right now? We'll see. But that's definitely.
I definitely don't think the Timberwolves should rely on him. 100%. Like they have.
No, they're gonna rely on D'Lo and Cat to get most of the
100%
thing. But Edwards is the 3rd option. It's going to be pretty good.
Number 2, Golden State Warriors drafted James Wiseman from Memphis. Number 3, Charlotte Hornets drafted Melo Ball from Australia. Now, we know the Ball family. We know that they're really good. And we know that LaMelo Ball being on the Charlotte Hornets are going to look really good next season.
They are. LaMelo Ball helps him out really, really good. The only question about LaMelo is he going to shoot? I mean, can he hit some threes? I mean, but he's got that it factor with his passing. He's a playmaker. He makes people better. I mean, they don't really have that many great players in Charlotte anyway, so LaMelo's is going to elevate everyone on their team.
And this is not, college basketball. This is the pro league, so
exactly.
You're going to be expecting a high-level play style.
Definitely.
Everyone.
And also, LaMelo's meant for, he's bounced around from all over the place, from Chino Hills to Lithuania, went back to Spider Academy, and then went up to Australia. So he's been all over the place since he was a freshman. He's ready for the NBA.
He is. I 100% agree with you. Number 4, the Chicago Bulls drafted Patrick Williams from Florida State. Number 5, the Cleveland Cavaliers drafted Isaac Okoro from Auburn. Auburn's a really good basketball team, so he came from a good college, and he could be getting a lot of experience.
Definitely. This was an excellent pick for Cleveland, and here's why. Their team has absolutely no defense on it. I mean, you still got Kevin Love, who's a good shooter. You got Andre Drummond, who's like a guy in the post. And you got 2 ish point guards in Sexton and Garland. They're still trying to figure out which of those 2 are going to become the guy. But you guys need a defender because they have no defense at all. Okoro is made for defense. Think about maybe a type like Kawhi Leonard, a guy who was like a defensive guy who got his offense eventually. That's the kind of guy I'm looking at, Okoro, to be that guy.
So, obviously, the Cleveland Cavaliers, he's going to help the Cleveland Cavaliers a lot. I know the Cleveland Cavaliers didn't have the best season, but they definitely can in the future.
Definitely.
Klay Thompson, we also bring over the Klay Thompson, obviously, as he broke his Achilles, and he's done for the season. That's not good for the Warriors.
No, it is not.
My thoughts, a lot of people are disagreeing with me. I still think the Warriors can still be that good of a team.
I think they can be this good, but you know what? They're not going to be that championship contender as they were anymore because Klay Thompson's just
they're going to be winning good. Though. It's not like they're starting off with a complete downfall. They could be on the rise. You still got Curry.
Right.
You still got Drummond. You still got all those players.
I know they didn't make the playoffs this year.
Plus, you just got a 2nd draft pick.
They did. They got that center, James Wiseman out of Memphis, and he's a pretty good player. And they haven't had a type of center that can do all the things that he can do. So now you got Draymond, Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Wiseman. Now you just traded for Kelly Oubre. You still got free agency to worry about. They got a good team. It's a playoff team, but is the championship team? Probably not yet, but it's going to take a lot. If they're going to be making a championship, Steph Curry has got to lead this team.
And it's bad because he got hurt in a pickup game, so we pray for Klay Thompson, and so was
pray for Klay.
Definitely other NBA players. So what's your top thoughts on the free agency?
Well, free agency is going to be really interesting this year. A couple names to look out for is definitely. It's not as a big class as it was last year, but a guy to look out for is Gordon Hayward. He's now out of the Celtics. Could he end up back with the Celtics? Indiana, Knicks is an option, Charlotte's an option, Atlanta. He can go all over the board right now.
They're thinking about, I don't know if you've heard of this, but they're thinking about trading Harden too.
Yes, Harden could be on the move, and Westbrook could be on the move.
So
it
the
could be
Rockets
really
have no
interesting.
shame in trading them just for a good draft pick or just for money.
Some
obviously.
decent players as well.
Yeah.
Another guy to look out for on the free agent market is Bogdanovich. He's a shooter in Sacramento. Sacramento's been terrible for a long time. He doesn't want to be there anymore. The Bucks almost traded for him. The deal fell apart, but now he's going to be a free agent. That could be a nice swing in determining who's going to be a really good team, because anybody could take a sharpshooter.
NBA is definitely interesting. As interesting as last week's NFL games.
Definitely.
Last week's NFL games were very interesting, as we're going to get into NFL Week 10 right now. Starting off with the Browns looking nice lately as they won 10-7 against the Texans. They're still on the downfall. Deshaun Watson needs to pick up his game. Washington has been pushing, but they still lost 30-27 facing the Lions. But the Lions, they only won by a field goal. The Washington State football team could have still won that game if they did not go for that field goal attempt.
Definitely. One thing I want to point out about Washington before we move on, Alex Smith is back, man. I mean, he almost had his career ruined. He almost lost his leg due to that injury.
Yeah.
And now he's back and he's balling. I'm so happy for Alex Smith.
And Washington was really bad considering all their losses, but them coming up that close against Stafford and the Lions is pretty good for the Washington State. So don't get your hopes too down on the Washington State football team. They still have a good chance, and they could definitely improve. Buccaneers back to winning after an upset from the Saints as they won against the Panthers in Charlotte, 46-23. That was a big win by Brady and Bucks. Brady definitely redeemed himself after last game. Giants also shockingly beat the NFC East leader, the Eagles. They beat them 27-17, and that was a big win by the Giants. I mean, in my opinion, did the Giants get lucky, or what does this mean for the Giants in the future?
This might be a little bit of a hot take, but I think the Giants are the best team in their division. I mean, let's go through this for a second. Philadelphia's been on and off with injuries.
I don't know.
Dallas has been ravaged. Washington has been okay, but they haven't been great. The Giants' defense has been incredible this season. James Bradbury, Blake Martinez, Leonard Williams, guys you didn't think they would are producing right now. And Daniel Jones has been staying afloat, and he's been actually doing not too bad recently, limiting the turnovers. I think that the Giants could sneak away the division from Philadelphia and absolutely turn the NFL upside down.
No, I don't think that. The Giants, I mean, they were on a complete slump. Them just winning this game, I feel like they did get lucky because their defense has been doing terrible. I just feel like their offense was the reason why they won that game. The main thing that Giants fans need to worry about is, will the Giants keep this consistent?
Definitely.
Because I think a lot of Giants fans want to see this be consistent and not a slump.
Definitely.
Because they win one game and they lose a bunch of other games after that.
I'll give you that. They need to stay consistent and keep on that roll.
100%. Packers also topped the Jaguars 24-20 against the Jaguars. And that was a close game though, but Aaron Rodgers was the man to look at. Aaron Rodgers is the one to get all the yards and all the touchdowns. So
yeah, really impressed by Rodgers, but Packers defense, what are you doing? The Jaguars, they're 1-8. I mean,
a lot of teams in the
should
NFL,
not have been that close.
A lot of teams in the NFL need to worry about both sides of the field.
They do.
They're too focused on either the offense or too focused on the defense. I just feel like the Packers, they're like, oh, we have Rodgers and all of them on our team, so I think we'll be good. But understand that the defense is gonna be letting all the points take over.
Absolutely.
That's the key thing about being in the NFL. You gotta worry about your two sides, offense and defense. Good game in Phoenix as the Bills came close, but they lost 32-30. That was a really close game, but a good game against the Cardinals. Cardinals are really hot right now, 6-2 right now. They're the team to look at, and honestly, them beating the Bills, I think they're having a good sight at the playoffs.
They really are. Kyler Murray and Diab have been great. I mean, that win, that throw and that catch in the end zone, that Hail Mary, perfectly sums up that game. And you know what? It's just a good win for the Cardinals.
It's not over for the Bills, though. They're going to be winning plenty more games.
Oh, definitely.
Both
they're
teams,
right now.
both sides of teams, they're keeping their games consistent. You know, Bills can lose games, but that's all right. They could still win games, if you know what I mean by that. Chargers also been losing as of late, but the Dolphins are on a win streak, and they're just on a roll, and they're going to keep winning. This is what we're talking about, consistency right here. Dolphins have been consistent, especially with Tua on the field. They won 29-21 against in Miami as Ahmed played, great played so well for the Dolphins, going with Tua. So, I think the Dolphins are building up that chemistry with Tua, and I think that's key for the Dolphins right now. The question is, do you think they're going to be in the playoffs? After they started off this season doing really bad, and then they're all of a sudden doing really well, and it's already week 10, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts is that they're going to be just short. I mean, they're going to be consistently good and all that, but I think they're just a little bit. I think they're just a little bit short this year.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. I mean, I just feel like they will be short, but I mean, they might not be short. Like, let's just say now that they have 2 on the field, they've been winning couple weeks back until now. They've been just on a win streak, but there's still 7 weeks left, though. I mean, I know one of the weeks they might have a bye, but I mean, if they win a lot, they could possibly, and if they beat the top leaders in the league, they have a chance, honestly. Raiders also crushed the Broncos 37-12, and their eyes are also set on the playoffs. Raiders are the ones to look at. They're that win-loss type team, but they're keeping their wins consistent, and that's what we like to see. Derek Carr, he was on the slump a couple seasons back, but he's back. He's back in Vegas, and he's showing Vegas why they're the team, and they're going to bring that Super Bowl trophy home to Vegas.
Maybe just Vegas is what they needed. I mean,
maybe.
They had to get
they've
out
been
of
doing so, like, I've never seen the Raiders were literally the Washington State football team and the Dallas Cowboys seasons back, and now they're winning. So, speaking of the Cowboys, they had a bye week, so they didn't play. Rams back to winning as they beat Wilson and the Seahawks 23-16. Malcolm Brown went off, as well as Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown are the guys to look at for the Rams. They're the ones that's picking up the wins for the Rams. Not only that, but it's just like the defense of the Rams too. They can focus on both sides, but the thing is that they don't know how to play against these big teams that are doing really well.
You're absolutely right. I mean, their defense has been really good recently. Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey are probably the best players at their respective positions. And also, he was talking about Malcolm Brown and Darrell Henderson. I mean, they're picking up the slack as Todd Gurley left in free agency. So now they're picking up the slack, and that's why the Rams are winning the games.
And honestly, I think the Rams are going to make the playoffs, 100%. Ram fans.
I think they are.
They could bring it home. But they just have to keep their wins consistent. I mean, we have seen the Rams lose, so
they got to complete that LA triangle.
They have to.
That would be really nice. The Dodgers brought
something that sports hasn't seen in a long time, and we would like to see that again, honestly. And I'm not even a Rams fan, so I like to see that.
I mean, the last time this happened, back in 1970, when the Knicks, the Jets, and the Mets all won championships. So it's not impossible.
Steelers also remain undefeated. This was kind of an easy win by the Steelers to remain undefeated. They kind of got this easy. They faced the Bengals, and this was at Cincinnati. They won 36-10, and wow, they crushed them. But like I said, there's still 7 weeks to go. If they can stay undefeated for the 7 weeks, I will be surprised because, the Steelers might look the best, but, you got other good teams that they haven't faced yet. So we never know. We could see. Saints also beat the 49ers 23-13. And honestly, we heard the shocking news, and I'm a Saints fan, so this is kind of terrible to see. Breeze got hurt. He hurt his fingers, I'm pretty sure. So, like, that's terrible. Terrible. And I definitely think it's going to be a speedy recovery. He will be back this season. It's not like he's done for the season.
No, I mean...
It's going to be a speedy recovery, thank God. But
yeah, I mean, not only did he broke a couple fingers, he broke 5 ribs and had a collapsed lung. Yeah. And had a broken shoulder. And had a messed up shoulder. He was messed up all over.
So the reason was because he just rushes into the, line of scrimmage. He just rushes into the line of scrimmage, and he gets he's been getting sacks every now and then, and he got hit by one guy, and then he said he was fine, but then coming to face the 49ers, he got hit again, and that permanently destroyed his ribs. And that's terrible. So pray for Breeze. But good news for Saints fans, as well as myself, we have Thomas back. Just like how Breeze will one day be back, Thomas is back, plus Alvin Kamara, and we have Deontay Harris. So.
Definitely. And another interesting thing is that last year, while Breeze was out, Teddy Bridgewater came in to step in. Now you have two guys that Sean Payton is deciding right now between Jameis Winston, who is the former Bucs starter, and Taysom Hill, their X factor. They might start each of them at quarterback.
I think you should start off Hill just because he has experience with playing with the Saints this season.
Definitely.
So,
but it's just going to be interesting to see which direction they go. And another thing that's going to be interesting.
I still feel like they're going to win games because
they're going to win games.
They have heavy defense and heavy offense.
I mean, remember last year when Breeze was out and they missed 5 games, Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0. So anything is possible.
Anything is possible
for the Saints.
It's the Saints, honestly.
But they got to keep themselves ahead of flow a little bit and not drop too much, because if they drop a little bit, Tampa's going to take their position.
Yeah.
And
100%.
And that's not going to be good for New Orleans.
Patriots also win big against the Ravens. Now, this is why I said the NFL this week was interesting. Because the Patriots beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. They won. That was a 23-17. Who would have thought?
And who would have thought that the Jets would turn the Patriots back into winners? Like, who knew?
Yeah,
like,
honestly,
this is unbelievable.
Shocking. But what does this mean for Newton and Edelman now that they got that win? Will they keep it up? I honestly feel like the Patriots got lucky because they've been losing way too much games. And the fact that they beat the Ravens, that's a big win. And honestly, Belichick should be happy about that.
Yeah, I also think that it's a little, lucky as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see it to believe it with the Patriots before I
want to
about
see them
making
win
the playoffs.
I don't want to see them just win this Sunday. I want to see them win the next Sunday. How about that? How about this? Win 3 game streaks, and we'll talk about it.
Definitely.
But honestly, Newton should take this as to heart and keep doing this. Bears also are not doing as well as of late, as they lost another game. But this is to the Vikings. Now the Vikings are not as good as the Bears, but they still lost to the Vikings. And the Vikings are bad with Feline and all of them. But they actually won the Vikings 19-13. So
it's been really weird for those two teams. The Bears started off hot. Now
they're on a slump.
Yeah, and also the Vikings, they started out terrible, and now they're almost back at 500.
Yeah.
So it really just tells you that anything in the NFL can happen.
Yeah, and especially with these 7 weeks happening, who knows? I mean, these 7 weeks, Washington State could be back up
Definitely.
top. So, NFL Week 11, which started last night, we kicked off with the Seahawks Cardinals in Phoenix, and the Cardinals lost, but that does not define the Cardinals, because they've been losing every now and then, but they just got on their win streak and they lost it last night, but they could definitely pick up another win next week. So they won 28-21, and the Seahawks show that they're still in this for the playoffs. So I think both teams have good chance at the playoffs. So
They really do.
honestly, we're going to have to keep our eye out. Things are getting even more interesting for the NFL. So, without further ado, I'm Tyler Wargo.
And I'm Mickey Perella.
And thank you guys for tuning into the Sports Grind Season 2, Episode 14. Bye.